Hey guys, welcome back. Um, I am in my stand-up position. I'm gonna actually change my camera, maybe. Yeah. So the YouTubers can see the mess I've got going on. Anyway, um, so I'm working on a retreat where people will pay and come to stay at my retreat 4 days, 5 days, whatever. I'm working out those details. I currently have a place in Costa Rica that's very interested in me having it there. Um, and I get going someplace like that is kind of cool, but I also have resources here where I can do this, I think, a little bit cheaper, a little easier to travel to. And a client today asked me what would be like, what would be the format of my retreat, or do I know what I would talk about, things like that. And what I would do, I think, is kind of um schedule it of how I kind of transform my life. And so many people in their life goes through some kind of event or tragedy or turmoil that their health usually goes first. They overeat, they do things like that, eat their feelings, whatever. I don't lose my health. I might um, get off track a little bit with my health, but I don't fully lose it. And but I mean, I'm unhealthy in other ways, I guess. So the big ways I changed my life is I started removing chemicals. I went plant based years ago. Then after I went plant based a year later, I stopped drinking. I figured out that it just wasn't serving me, and I needed to change. So that's what I did. I stopped drinking. Then um, I kind of went deeper and my life really changed. And I had to go a hard reset on my life. And I was at my rock bottom. And I knew rock bottom isn't where I needed to be or wanted to be. And so what I did was I looked at what um, all the successful people do. And number one, they all get up really early. And two, they meditate. And I was like, those things are free. And so I started with that. And I really learned and I listened to more people and self-help, things like that. The number one thing you can do is, have the best morning you can have by getting up when you're supposed to and having your routine, your schedule that sets you up for um, a really good day. And that was probably the hardest transformation because even though I was plant-based, even though I stopped drinking, I was still taking Ambien, and I didn't like the way Ambien had control over me, meaning I had to take it a certain time in the evening to be able to get up a certain time. And I was like, I'm just tired of being controlled by it. So what I did is I went to my doctor and I'm like, hey, I don't want this anymore. I don't want a prescription. What's the plan to get off? Because I did feel my brain getting a little slower with it. And so then we got off that. And I was basically now in this process of removing chemicals. I got my water machine, pulled the chemicals out of that. So it's like I started cleaning things up and my life really started to change. I realized what foods, waters, chemicals affect my body and how. And I really then started working on, my mind, and I'm in such a good place now. Like I don't have any anger, I don't have any hate. Like I feel like I understand everything. And it's kind of like I'm the teacher at a kindergarten class because these kids are freaking out. And I'm just like, well, that's how we have to do it. I'm just like managing so much. And that's probably not a good word, but it's like I'm the only one that has the inside um information on how to be here. I know other people do, but it's like when we think about being healthy, everybody says, what's the number one thing you have to get control of to be healthy, happy, blah, blah, blah. Everybody goes food, right? And then maybe exercise, that's always what they go to. And a couple of years ago, I did this talk for a legal, I don't know, legal health committee or wellness committee, or I don't know what it was. And it was a last minute thing. And I'd been working on this for a while, and it really, I was very excited to be able to try this out. They were desperate. They just needed me. I talked to them before about exercise and running. And so now I got a chance to just show up and do this kind of talk. And I loved it. And I basically said, there's the top three things, 1, 2, and 3, that you need to stay alive. Number one is air. You're not going to go probably more than 3 minutes without air and you'll be dead, right? And number 2 is water. You're not going to go, I think it's 3 days without water, you'll be dead. And then food, 30 days without food, you'll be dead. Now that's, a blanket statement. I don't know that there's science to that, but it sounded good, right? And so everybody, when they decide they want to be healthy, go straight to number 3. Well, number 3 is actually, you've missed the first 2, so breath work, breathing is so important. And I've discovered this, I teach this, but it's like, be more conscious of your breath and how you breathe and the type of air you get. And I think that is the best place to start, like doing breath work with meditation, things like that, kind of working on your inside. Well, then, next thing is water. You need water. You need lots of water. And everybody that you talk to who's unhealthy, they will all say, I need to drink more water. Most people know they need to drink more water, and they don't understand why they don't, or whatever. There's so many tricks to that, like flavoring it, whatever. Just get yourself to drink more. Me personally, if I have it in a cup with a straw, it's easier to drink. I can just drink it and I don't have to worry about spilling it. I can drink it fast. And then we go to food. Food is like so specific for so people and the purpose. And I think that is critical. And so what I would tell people, when you eat something, it is in your stomach for 2 to 3 hours. Now, I was able to discuss this, fact check it with my with a doctor. I forgot what he's called. He did my colonoscopy, that kind of doctor, inside doctor, right? So your when you eat something, you it's in your stomach 2 to 3 hours. And so then how that food makes you feel about 2 hours later is really the good indicator whether that food is good for you or not good for you. And so I think that's where we get very confused, and you eat something and it tasted delicious, food's all gone, you're full, and then about 30 minutes later you're like, I'm hungry. It's not possible that you're hungry. Your stomach is still full. And so what that means is you either just like the way it tastes, or like you're doing it out of bad habit. You're doing it as a habit. But what happens is your brain goes, hey, we got a little bit more room in the stomach because it's being digested. We have more room and that tasted good. Let's get some more in here. Let's see if we can, add to this pleasure we're getting. And it's usually how people start to overfeed. And so I think, you go to that. Now, once we get through those 3, now you got all kinds of things it could be, like everybody should move and exercise. I could make a list, but I don't want to do that. But I think exercise and movement is so important. And again, that is very, very specific for people. You can't just say, oh, you need to do this, you need to do this. And I've been in this space for so long that I've seen everything come around. And, like there's always a new exercise, a new movement that then makes it, they brand it and that's the new thing, like we've got, and I think there's incredible things out there. I think F45 is incredible. I think Orange Theory is incredible. Like all these things where they build the tribe and you go and work out there. I mean, there's, but you got to find your area, like I just love the vibe of the Y, the downtown Y. I love the vibe of the staff. Like everything is coming together, and it's just really kind of this cool environment, but it's also about setting that vibration at the right level. And then it started infecting other people and everybody's elevating up. And it's just a really good feeling. And so then after, we go through movement, exercise, all that, then we got kind of that human connection. Where that applies to some people is not, real, but it's super important to me. I probably connect with new people on a daily basis. I do. And the other day, we watched TV and my friend goes, what did she say? I hear energy, like people saying you have good energy. And she's like, I've never said that in my life. I'm like, I say that 3 to 5 times a day. Like I'm always saying it to strangers. So I'll go, hey, you got a good vibe. You got great energy. I always say things like that. And so I think it's just, but that's that connection to people. I love making connections. I love meeting new people. I love just talking to people, getting to know their story. One of them at Lone Star, especially on Mondays, um, I the business is very well when I'm there. The wheels of commerce are spinning fast, but it's because I make a connection with people there. I'm not saying I'm better than other people, but I'm saying I talk to people. I may not know people's name, but if they were to come in here now, I would actually know what they do and maybe remember the kind of shoe. But I had a guy yesterday bought 8 pairs of shoes because they were on sale and he worked making a church. And I'm like, we just talked and he went crazy. But and then you got to kind of list what's important to you. And I think it's very important to write these things down. Like the top 3 you can remember: air, water, food. But then as you start building your list, I think that's where you got to have those things that are very important to you, that kind of make you complete, that make you feel good. And that's kind of your rules, your what I want to say, it's kind of what makes you, it's your recipe for happiness. And I think that is important. Like so many people don't really, like, they fight it. They're their own enemy. But I mean, I think it's important to list those things out, and it's okay to change them, from time to time, like what's important. I just find where like service, gratitude, helping people is just the key to so much. And that's that connection. But everything else has to be in order too. Like and then I mean, sleep is probably number 4. You know what I mean? Sleep should probably be the most important one after that, because you're not going to live much longer for sleep. I could really get scientific with this and kind of dive in there, but I don't want to, because it'll change for me. My job is to just find these little topics, explain a little bit, get you thinking about it, and entertain you, right? But I think sleep is key. And getting on that Ambien it wasn't difficult. I took some kind of pill, I don't remember what it was, for about 3 days and helped me get off of it. And I don't miss it. Like I feel like after a few days, my mind the wheels started spinning faster, like they were just working well. It's like everything was bogged down by something. And so now everything started working well. I sleep so good. And I have it dialed in. So, and people always want to say, I need 8 hours of sleep, but you don't. You really don't. I believe if you require a lot of sleep, you're deficient in something else. And I think this is so important to figure that out. Your sleep cycle is about 90 minutes. And so if you really look at the time you go to bed and the time you wake up or want to wake up, and you break those up into 90-minute blocks, 4 of those is 6 hours for me. And that's I feel okay. I feel fine. I feel great. Put on a race last Sunday, and so I had to be Addison an hour away. So I got up 1 o'clock in the morning Sunday. I did go to bed early, and I slept till about 5 hours, I think, and which is not my ideal, but I was ready to get up. My last little block was not smooth and calm. It was more like I was restless, ready to get up. But so I got up 1 o'clock, ate a little bit, had coffee, and then I drove an hour. At 2 o'clock in the morning, I left, drove up there. We picked up a truck. Then we went up to the race site and started setting up the water stops and stuff. And it was not hard, easy. And it was that hurry up and wait situation. You know, we got done so quick, and then we had to wait an hour and a half before the race even started. And it was just anyway. And so then I got home about 2:30, I think, 3. I just showered, ate a little bit, and then I had a 4-hour bike ride. So I got on the bike then, did some normal lifting, but the reason I can do these things like this, you know, sleep deprived, if you will, and then train, you know, hard up until 7:30 p.m. on Sunday after being up at 1. Yeah, I was like, I'd been up 19 hours, you know, when I went to bed, which is crazy. But when I slept Sunday night, I didn't move. You know, my watch tracks my sleep. I didn't move at all. And so I was very deep and under. And I think you know, my friends joke that they just gotta wear me out like a puppy and then I'll sleep. And I love feeling like that. I love getting up early and I love that deep, hard sleep. But the reason I'm able to do these things is because I know so many people can't, if that makes sense. And so I really you know, I've always said I think I can outsuffer everybody. And so now I know a lot of people wouldn't even want to do that. They would miss a workout. To me, the workout's more important than, you know, the race, but I know I can do both, you know. And so by doing both, I feel better, but it's like 3 days later, I'm like, oh, like I'm dragging. It takes me a day and I don't need more sleep at night. I need like a little nap and just some rest time, you know. But I mean, it's like I'm fine. This is what I do. This is the season. Races are ramping up. My Ironman is in 6 weeks, and then I don't know what I'm gonna do after that, but I'll figure it out. Anyway, guys, I challenge you to write your list of the things that are important. My cat just jumped up here, shook the whole table, right in the middle of everything. Write your list, and I challenge you to really take the time to see what's important for you. I think once you go more than 5 or 6, it's almost like, well, I could do anything. My cat is important to me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think you need to do it like that. But anyway, guys, I challenge, I put in the comments, like, you know, take the time to figure out how many breaths you actually take in a day. I had that broken down one time, but I don't remember what it is. But yeah, it's you take so many breaths in a day, or you should, so they should be good breaths, you know? Anyway, all right, y'all, till next time. Bye.